What's up, everybody? Welcome to the House of Mario, the South Australian Nintendo podcast, backed by 120 Power Star rating. I'm your host, Drew Agnew, and the doors to episode 132 are open. Joining me this week is my good friend, Seamus Mullins.
Hey.
Seamus, how you going?
Yeah, I'm good. Glad to be here.
That's good. So, Seamus, you were on exactly 100 episodes, we found out just before.
Yeah, really funny that just happened to, we did not actually try and line that up at all. It was just completely random, yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool. 100 episodes ago. When I was looking at it, I was thinking it was 70-something, a fair while ago, but holy shit, I didn't realize it was over 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's flown by, and yeah, a fair bit has happened then for myself, but also for you on the show, and how many events you've been to, how much the podcast has changed and evolved since then. It's been, I'm sure, quite the ride for you. Yeah,
it's been fun doing it. All these 2 years plus. So last time we were talking, Seamus, you just got one of your written articles on IGN.com. It's a very exciting time for you. You're sort of trying to get into that space of the games industry, doing the written content and stuff like that, more on the media side of things. But since you've moved in a fairly different direction in those 2 years, a lot has happened to you as well. So what we said before was we'll sort of catch us up on what you've been up to. You're like, oh, well, how long do you want to go for? You got 3 hours? No, Seamus, not 3 hours. Jesus Christ, mate. But I guess what's the sort of a rough summary of what you've been up to and what you're doing now?
Yeah, rough summary. So like you said, almost 2 years ago, I had just gotten my first article published on IGN, and before that, I'd studied journalism, media, and I had done some work in public relations in the video game and tech industry with several clients such as Blizzard and Devolver Digital, and that was a really interesting experience. But before that, I'd already been writing for several different video game outlets, and at the time we had last talked, I was just doing it freelance at the time, and just got my first article at IGN, and ended up doing some stuff at GameSpot and Rebel Games, and yeah, it was an interesting time. Doing freelance, I learned a lot. I have a lot of respect for people who do it full time. It's really hard to be chasing leads and to be pitching content constantly. It's a lot of work. So I have a lot of respect for a lot of people in the industry, and a lot of the friends I have who I see putting out great content all the time and chasing leads. But yeah, not too long after we talked, I ended up getting a job as a community manager for a video game developer in New Zealand. Yeah, pretty different. Yeah. What did you think when I told you I got that job?
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
And it was cool that you got to go to another country to work there for a little bit too.
Yeah, it was a big shift, and it was really exciting. I've never actually been to New Zealand before, so it was really cool to be able to go there for work as well. But I guess for me, I've just always wanted to work. Since finishing high school, I've just wanted to work in the games industry, and it's been a bit of a journey figuring out exactly in what capacity and what I really want to do. And so it started out originally studying IT and game development or programming, and at the time it wasn't really for me, and then I got into journalism and did that for a bit, and I enjoyed that a lot, but it's a really hard part of the industry to get into full time, and it's not impossible. But I guess I just decided I wanted to explore different areas, and I've ended up enjoying lots of different parts, such as doing PR, and the prospect of working at a game studio was really interesting to me. So when the opportunity came up, I just decided to go for it. And so the studio in New Zealand was Aurora 44, or as they're more generally known now, is just A44. I went and worked there just doing a 6-month contract in Wellington, New Zealand. Beautiful city. Really, really lovely. It's compared to the Melbourne of New Zealand in a lot of ways, like the cultural hub for New Zealand. It's quite small city. It's only 250,000 or so population, but there's just so much going on there. So it was a great place to be for 6 months. And it was a really exciting crazy time because the first game from that studio was released called Ashen.
Yeah.
And that was a Souls-like. The best way to put it is the third-person actions with slight RPG elements, very much Souls-like, that came out originally just on PC and Xbox One. It was one of the first free games on the Epic Game Store, actually.
Yep.
Which was a wild ride, and one of the biggest secrets I had to keep, I guess, in games leading up to it, because we were demoing the game at PAX Australia 2018, and I was managing the booth for that, and I remember talking to you then about it.
Yeah. I remember, like, because, you know, I'm obviously the Nintendo Switch dude. I come up, so Seamus, is this on Switch? And I was just as a joke, and you're like, oh, no, Drew, this isn't going to run on Switch. It's a very technical game, has a lot going on.
It's not going to happen, yeah.
Then, like, the next year, it's coming to PS4 and Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. I can't remember exactly when it was, but it was even not too long after I got back from that trip, or early the following year, that it was, you know, the conversation started happening about bringing it to other platforms, and they were surprised by how quickly they were able to get it up and running on other platforms, which is really cool. And it's since released on PS4 and Nintendo Switch, so it's out on everything. It's come to Steam as well after the year-long exclusivity deal has finished, so it's everywhere, and it seems like it's done really well, which is great. It's a really cool game, really talented, passionate team that I really enjoyed working with, and miss that team quite a bit. But it was just a 6-month contract in the end, so I came back after that. I did a bit of work for a Japanese video game and anime company that primarily is a translation company. So they would translate various anime and manga, and they also got into video games. They translated Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, just before I started doing some work with them. And I worked primarily doing marketing and community management for bringing Japanese games to the West, and did that for a few months, which was a really interesting experience as well. Learned a lot from that. Got to doing presentations for Japanese companies. Yeah, it was something different. But then not too long after that, I joined a company called Diabolical that has run the websites ModDB and IndieDB for quite a long time now. They're have been some of the largest video game developer communities online. So ModDB is a database for mod developers to share their mods, and IndieDB is a website community for indie developers to share their games. ModDB's been going for like 18, 19 years now. IndieDB around a bit over a decade now, I think, as well. So I'm the editor-in-chief of those websites. So I ended up sort of getting back into editorial.
It's a bit of both, I guess, really. Like, it is editorial, but at the same time, you are very close to development side of things, whether it's through mods and all that type of thing.
Yeah, and it's not a typical editorial role because we don't tend to produce that much content or coverage ourselves. It's all user-generated content, so we more so moderate it and curate it and sort of feature the best content on both websites. But I do a bit of news related to indie industry news and modding news as well from time to time. It's a lot of featuring just the cool stuff that's on the sites with a bit of editorial. But we also have a video game publishing label as part of our business as well. So we also publish video games, which brought together a lot of my skills and experiences that I've gained over the last 3 or 4 years that I've been in the industry. So community management, public relations, marketing, but bringing me into new parts of the industry and skill sets as well. So production, which is something I think I would have liked for a while, and since doing it, I have been enjoying it quite a bit. So that's working with developers whose games we're publishing and helping them figure out timelines for their games and just helping ensure that development is as easy and enjoyable, I guess, is the best way to put it, as possible. Because it all leads into each other. If you don't have a development timeline, it makes it hard to work out a marketing timeline of when you want to have major press beats and when you want to be running events, etc. And so so it's half my time is spent on the websites, managing those, and then the other half of my time is running the video game publishing label. So it's a very small team for the websites and the publishing label. So it means we can be quite agile, but it also means that we can't do too much. So you're not going to see us publishing like several games at once. It means we're going to be really focused on 1 or 2 titles at the time, which I think is
it's good for your clients.
It's good for the developers we work with, and it just means we can give them the love they need, and we can really focus on them and do the best job we can, which I've been enjoying a lot. I think publishing is an area I want to work in a lot in the years to come. So I've been learning a lot of new experiences. It's been good. So I guess that's kind of where where I've been up to over the last couple of years since we talked. Because we haven't talked at all since that episode.
I forgot what you looked like, to be honest. I had to go back and look at the picture on my phone of us that day and went, oh yes, of course, he's got dark hair and
blue eyes,
Yeah, like I hadn't heard about any of that like before you said you started working there, and like they're not the type of games I'm into. Like it's not like I'm not into the modding community at all, so I never heard about it. But just like hearing everything you say, I'm like, I should give it like a good look at. And
you should, Drew. Yeah.
I've got my little gaming laptop now. I can get amongst all those mods and check it out.
Yeah. There's a lot of mods.
Yeah, I'm sure. And there was a couple of last time you were here, you were telling me about like sort of the community moderation aspect of it. Like, what were you saying? Like someone said someone stole something.
So it happens a lot, and that's part of our role as the sort of creators and the managers of the websites is sort of managing the community itself. And often there's a lot of community disputes that come up. And the thing is with the modding community specifically is that there is sort of unwritten rules within the community about if you're going to use someone else's assets in your mod or their mods, because often people want to make changes to someone else's mod, make it better, make it different to suit how they want to play. And often you generally ask for permission or only do it if they've said generally it's fine for anyone to do it. And so there's sort of these unwritten rules about it. And often there can be a lot of disputes between members of the community not getting the right permission, stealing other people's assets, all this type of stuff. So that's one of the many facets of the job and managing community. And it's really rewarding working with the community, seeing all the amazing stuff they bring to the sites every single day. Some really talented people who are just doing it through largely pure passion, which is incredibly inspiring. It's I feel very lucky to be part of those communities and to spotlight all the cool content they bring to the sites. Yeah,
it's awesome. I hope you keep doing it for many years to come.
I've been enjoying the role quite a bit, but that's the thing with my career so far. It has jumped around quite a bit. So when people have asked me, where do you see yourself in 5 years, or what do you hope? What's your goal? And there is definitely goals I have of places I would like to work, possibly, or things I'd like to achieve. But it's just jumped around all over the place that I just don't know. And the industry changes really rapidly all the time as being a tech industry. So it's exciting. It's kind of scary at times as well. Not knowing what's going to necessarily be next in a couple of years, but I like that aspect of the industry. Yeah,
and it's good too because you can work at home. So what that quite often means is like you can pack your laptop and you can come down here and see me for a week.
And jump on the House of Mario.
Yeah. Otherwise, I would have been talking to myself. Hello, Drew. Yeah, what's going on, man?
Well, the thing is, Drew, you have some exceptionally nice new equipment.
Yes.
That you'll be able to use to actually do a lot of new things, but most importantly, call up people during the show, which I think is something you want to do later on tonight's episode.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the segue, Seamus. It's like you ran your own radio show for a little bit.
Maybe.
Is it still on iTunes? Pixels Rising?
Maybe.
If you out there, if you want something else to listen to, look up Pixels Rising. It was an old show Seamus did on Radio Adelaide.
Radio Adelaide, community radio station in Adelaide, in the old South Australia.
That's
and
cool.
yeah, I did it over a year. As you said, there's the show called Pixels Rising, a video game talk show with electronic and video game music and chiptune. We featured a lot of chiptune music as well. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I missed that show. It finished a couple of years ago because I had to travel for work in the end.
Yeah, it's cool. It was sort of before a lot of people were doing their podcast live on Twitch, and like I had really bad internet at the time, so I'm like, I can't really do anything. But there was like at least a few times where I'm like, it's a Wednesday, 7 o'clock, or it wasn't 7 o'clock. It wasn't that early, was it? It was pretty late.
It might have been 9 to 11. Yeah.
I remember like one time, like Seamus is live, so I went to the website, went on. It's just really cool, like hearing you live, and like send you a message on Facebook, like, I'm listening to you, ha 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 ha, like do the whole. Because there was no comment section or anything, so it's just like
no,
just ringing you live on air. How you going?
Yeah, that feels like so long ago. But yeah, I miss it a lot. I love video games, but I love music as well. So to be able to incorporate both those things and just be able to play music you love and be able to highlight awesome video game soundtracks. And there is a bustling chiptune community as well. And chiptune was a genre I hadn't really explored before starting the show. And I really dove into. And now I have several chiptune artists I still follow from then. So yeah, like give it a try. It might still be on iTunes. If not, just look up some chiptune artists and have a listen to what's some of the cool stuff that's out there. It's a great genre.
Yeah, like I like featuring stuff on SoundCloud too from certain artists who do Nintendo remixes. Yeah. So anyway, new gear. My Rodecaster Pro came in, so it's basically for those out there that aren't big audio nerds like I might be. It's basically a box that's made for podcasting. It allows us to do sound effects, do call-ins, do like a lot of things. It really makes us a lot more flexible with doing this show. So for example, Seamus, I'll hit the laugh track here. This is one of the included sounds. So laugh, and you can turn it up. Ha ha ha! Good joke, Seamus. And you can turn it down. You can turn that off. What else we got? If you do something really silly, you do something like that. Oh, a bit of a conspiracy. So yeah, it allows us to sort of do the whole show live rather than just having to edit it afterwards. It makes us a lot more fun for us, being able to like hear the intro, hear the skit, hear the segments, and all of that stuff. So I'm looking forward to doing that. Got some new microphones. So if you're like, they sound a bit better, maybe that's why. Don't know. Might sound worse. I hope it don't sound worse, because otherwise I could have gotten cheaper microphones and we would have been all right. Just tell me we sound better. That'll make me feel good. So yeah. So Seamus, you've been playing some video games on your Nintendo Switch system, fitness ones in particular.
Yes, I have.
Ring Fit Adventure. So here on the show, I haven't played it because I liked Wii Fit, and yeah, I wasn't really. I'm sort of thinking about getting Ring Fit Adventure just because I think it would be good for me. And yeah, if you met Bryce, you'd probably say, "Oh no, he wouldn't want to play Ring Fit Adventure." So yeah. So Seamus, you're bringing the Ring Fit Adventure impressions to the House of Mario. So what do you think?
Well, it's really funny thinking back to the announcement trailer for it, and when there's just families sitting in lounge rooms watching family members just do these exercises with these really odd looking equipment and ring, and it just made me laugh so hard, because I was like, what is this? I love you, Nintendo, for doing these wacky things, but my God, what is going on? And so I was a little skeptical at first, as I have been about a lot of Nintendo products, including the Nintendo Switch, before it came out. But I will now very easily say it is the best console ever released. And people disagree with that. And I was like, you're crazy.
See, all right, just a bit of context. This fucking shocked me because growing up, Seamus and I have been going to school since primary school.
We've been friends for a while.
We've been friends for a long time. And at school, Seamus was, one of my best mates, but he was also the most hardcore PlayStation fan I've ever met in my whole life.
Surely that's changed. Surely you've met more hardcore people since then. Surely.
Yes, but it was either the PlayStation or just slit your throat. Nothing else. Everything else was, everything else was like, nah, wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't touch it.
We actually had a 64 when I was a kid, and I had a Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy DS. Like, we actually had a fair bit, yeah.
You did tell me that, but I'm like, oh. But did you play them?
Yeah, I played them. I played them quite a bit. But yeah, I think there was just a period, I think particularly in high school, where I was a big Sony fanboy. And that Sony was doing a lot of cool stuff then. And,
absolutely.
Yeah, and
that's when I got into PlayStation as well.
Yeah, into the Vita days, the best days. Some would say, yeah.
I would say that. Would anyone else? Probably not. Probably not.
But that's not important. But yeah, so that's the thing though. When the Switch was coming out, I thought it was a really cool idea, but for some reason I just didn't think it would take off. And I guess it was a really short period from when they officially announced it to when it was coming out. And maybe I just didn't see enough of it. Maybe they just didn't show it off enough. But once it came out, it really grabbed me. And I had the somewhat similar feeling with Ring
Fit Adventure.
Yeah, Ring Fit Adventure. But the more I saw of it after it came out, I only heard good things. I only saw good things, and that it was actually a really great exercise tool. So if you're not aware of what it is a Nintendo first-party developed game, and it's an RPG, so there's a story mode and everything, but you complete it by doing exercises. So by jogging on the spot, running through the world, doing various exercises to defeat enemies. There's boss battles. So it's a fitness game wrapped into like a very light action RPG. Very colorful, pretty world that's just kind of nice to run through. And the more I heard of it, the more I wanted it, Drew. It sounded really cool. And I've played a lot of sports over the years, and I do really enjoy sports. But as you get older, obviously it's harder to find the time to fit in everything that life throws at you, including keeping yourself fit. And I still love going out and playing soccer with friends and doing various things. But it seemed like just a cool thing to be able to do at home very easily and without too much effort, and just seemed fun. And so I've been planning to pick it up for a bit, and I picked it up just last week. I've only done a couple sessions of it so far, but I'm really digging it actually, and it's even gone beyond my expectations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself like getting into a routine with it when you get back to Adelaide?
I would like to at least try and do it like every 2 to 3 times a week because like I said, there's other sports I do.
Yep.
Pardon me. And no, I'd love to do it regularly. I'm really interested to know how long the adventure mode is and how long that can keep me going for. It sounds like it's reasonably long, and you can always go back and replay worlds, and you can just do specific stretches and activities outside of that. So there's a lot of, you can mess around with it, and there's a lot of different options. Yeah. But yeah, from what I've done from it so far, like at the start, you put in all your details, your weight, how old you are, and how much you want to work out, and it'll give you sort of a challenge rating. And I want to have a bit of a challenge. I want to have a proper workout. And I've only done it for about 15 minutes so far, because I'm going to be honest, I'm not in the best shape right now. I'm not awful, but I'm not in the best shape. And so just doing 15 minutes, I've been really sweating. It's been a really good workout. And it's been being able to customize it really easily is great. But it's also pretty much a personal trainer, because it shows you how to do all the different exercises. It shows you how to do warm-up stretches and cool-down stretches. It tells you if you're doing it too fast or if your form's going out of balance. Like, it's really good. It's a really good motivator on top of the actual game RPG that you're doing itself. So there's a lot of different elements to sort of motivate you and keep you engaged, which, is really cool. And I think it's something that could be great for a lot of people who maybe can't afford the PT, maybe just don't like going to the gym because they just don't like that space. They're shy. Maybe they just don't have much time. So I think it's a really cool product that could be great for a lot of people. And I've been really enjoying it so far. Yeah.
So the way I look at it, like Wii Fit was trying to get in like the casual market to try, like, I like fitness, I'll buy a Wii, I'll get the board, do that. But Ring Fit Adventure seems to be like, all right, we are sort of aiming more to our audience, which are gamers, but we're trying to put a really good sort of RPG with exercise. So it's not necessarily trying to go for that blue ocean effect like Wii Fit was, but with just going for the market they've already sort of got.
I think I'll actually say it's almost more wider orientated because the RPG experience that is there, it is very light, like it is very generic and simple.
No Dragon Quest,
No, it's no Dragon Quest. So and based on the marketing they've done, I'd almost say it's actually going for a wider market as well. I don't think it's going to be nearly as successful as what the Wii Fitness it was. No, it's still done a few million units so far already from memory, so it's not doing too bad.
Yeah, it's done over 1 million. So
yeah,
that's pretty huge for what it is and sort of who's buying a Switch, especially with the Switch Lite, which won't cater towards that game at all.
No,
unless you just want to lean it against like your kitchen counter and sweat and I don't know.
Possibly, yeah. But I would highly recommend it. To be fair, though, I've only done a couple of sessions in it so far, but I do plan to do many more in it, and I'm really interested to see the longevity of it and whether it's something that I can return to for months or possibly even years. So yeah, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, good first impressions at least anyway.
Yeah, definitely. And for like how much it was like 125 AUD here in Australia. And considering like if you went and got a PT, it can vary of course, but it can be kind of expensive. So you're getting pretty good bang for your buck for the instructions and motivation you get from it and the range of exercises and information it gives you, because it's giving you tips all the time about how to live a healthy life, the type of foods you should be eating and all this type of stuff. And it's good.
So it's trying to put my partner out of work. That's what it's trying to do.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah.
Yeah, because she's a personal trainer. So yeah, awesome. Yeah, because it's one of those games where I'm like, oh, I'd like to give it a go, but $120, I'm like, I could spend it on KFC.
You could, or you could invest that money into yourself, Drew, into improving yourself and having fun at the same time.
That's a good way to put it, Seamus.
Yeah.
Well done. So I haven't been playing much at all, to be honest. We're sort of in my, I guess, office area, which I'm sort of gutting at the moment because I need to paint it and carpet it and all that. So it's just a fold-out table at the moment, and so a lot of that's going to be. A lot of my time's going to be into painting and doing stuff in here. But
just renovating in general.
Yeah. But I have played with Pokemon Home since it came out.
Oh, you're right.
On the mobile version and the Switch version. And I did a solo episode just talking about Pokemon Home, when all the details got announced. And sort of my thoughts are pretty much the same as what they were. It is weird that, like, on the Switch version, you can't do all the things you can on the mobile version. It's just annoying. Like, you can't trade or do wonder gifts or anything on the Switch. It's got to be on the phone. And it's just, and the phone version, especially at the moment, and especially when it launched, it was like very buggy. It crashed on me like every 5 minutes or so, just like crashes. And yeah, and like I moved my like living decks, like all of the Pokemon from my Pokemon bank, and they didn't register in the Pokedex straight away. It took a long time for the servers to sort of like read it all. So like, when it launches, you expect it to be a little bit funky, but yeah, it was pretty average.
A pretty rough launch by the sounds of it.
But I do like the features it offers, like the wonder trading at the moment. Like, you go on your phone, you can put 20 Pokemon in at once and you just randomly trade all 20 Pokemon when they trade back. But at the moment with the servers, it takes like 2 hours to sort of find people. Because you just put them there and leave them there. But say in the games we do a wonder trade, it goes up, then a Pokemon comes back. You're like, cool, you do another one, up, comes back. Now you put 20 in there. It's like, wow, this is going to be really quick. Just 20 at once. Holy crap. But then it takes a couple of hours. Then you've got to open every single Pokeball one by one. It's kind of like opening loot boxes. It kind of feels like that. But they're free. And obviously it's a subscription, so you're not paying for like microtransactions and stuff. So I don't know why you have to open them so slowly. Especially when...
just the anticipation, Drew.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know what they're trying to get at, but just make you spend time in their app. But yeah, I subscribed to the premium plan pretty quick. I decided $25 for the year. That's
okay. I thought that was for per month for a second.
No, that would be a bit crazy, bit ridiculous. That would be, but no, like a lot of people are complaining about the price, but it breaks down to like $2.06 Australian, like a month. So if you're a big Pokemon fan with a big collection, it is worth it for you. If you're just like a casual Pokemon fan like yourself,
such as myself,
yeah, like you'll be fine with the free plan. You can put 30 Pokemon in there, and that'll probably be fine for you. You don't have a big collection you have to worry about and whatever. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. It's got a fair way to just updates and stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it more stable now?
It's a little bit more stable, yeah.
But still has a bit of a way to go, yeah.
And one thing that really sort of shown itself to me was just how weird the Pokemon look. Like, it's not the 3D models, it's not the sprites, but it's just there's a weird art style to all of the Pokemon in Pokemon Home. It's just really different and weird. Don't know how to put it. Weird.
Well, I haven't really seen much of it myself, Drew, except for what I can only imagine is the best part: a certain classic character reinvented to be part of it. That would be the older, hip Professor Oak that's in it. Am I thinking of it this way?
Forgot about him, yeah. To be honest, I just went, what the hell is this? And just went through it. But yeah, I see it was like trending on Twitter and all of that. I'm like, when I actually thought about it a bit more, I was like, yeah, those glasses are a bit weird.
And he's got a different hairstyle and stuff. He's gone through maybe.
Now I've forgotten. Was that Professor Oak, or is this like another relative of Professor Oak?
I think it's meant to be Professor Oak, and he's just going through like a 3/4 life crisis kind of thing. Like, yeah. Oh, he's just enjoying life, just putting his feet up, trying.
You got to enjoy life, Seamus. You got to.
He's been through a lot,
Yes.
He's had to train up Ash many times, and I'm sure he's very tired.
I say he was introduced in Pokemon Masters, and his companion Pokemon was Mew. See, the trailer for that was really cool. And at the end, it's like, oh, Pokemon Masters. I'm like, I don't care.
What is Pokemon Masters?
It's a mobile game. It's a gotcha game. So
that's true. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah,
you remember? See, I was excited for it because I'm like, oh, I like all the characters. There's a mobile game. I'll go through a story, but they want your money, something fierce in that game. You want 20 rolls, $60. I don't know if that's exactly what it is, but I think it's $40 actually for don't know how many rolls. I don't care. Don't play it anymore. It was a long time ago where I sort of let that sail into the wind. So yeah. So Pokemon Home, it's cool. Put your Pokemon in there. If you get if you have a complete living dex, they reward you with a shiny. Oh, what's its name? I forgot its name. It's Mag. I forgot its name, Seamus. It's a new Pokemon. They don't stick in my head like the old ones do. I remember Pikachu. I'm a big fan. I love Pikachu.
Who doesn't, Drew?
Who doesn't love Pikachu? Fake fans. Nato Johnson out there. He doesn't like Pikachu. Tell you what. Bloody hell. He prefers Raichu. What a bloody...
Raichu's cool.
Raichu's fine. Yeah. He's no Pikachu.
No Pikachu.
No. He's not that iconic.
He doesn't have a detective movie, does he?
Does he have a detective movie, Nato? Have you seen Detective Raichu? Is that the sequel? I think not. Jesus Christ. All right, Seamus. Let's roll in with the first jingle. Let's move into some news. Let's go down the warp pipe, as they say.
I'm ready.
Woo. Woohoo!
Yeah! Pika, pika! Is that all?
I fight for my friends.
Wahoo!
My body is still.
All right, Seamus. So the cheeky bastards at Nintendo have announced an Animal Crossing New Horizons Direct that will be happening on the 20th of February in America and the 21st here in Australia at 12:30 in the morning.
Great time.
My local time. It's a great time. Well, it isn't a great time, but at the same time, it's not during work or maybe a family dinner or whatever you have. Like, I just got to stay up late and I've got literally nothing to do, but maybe just troll around on the internet until it happens. So it's actually not too bad a time.
It's not too bad. Yeah.
And I don't go to bed that early. At 12 o'clock, it could be 2 o'clock, could be 4 o'clock.
It could be worse. Yeah.
Yeah. If it was 4 o'clock in the morning, it's like, Nintendo, come on, give us some slack here. I'm trying to run the house of Mario. I'm trying to get this information out to listeners, and you're just making it real hard.
They're just not being considerate of you, Drew.
Just you've got to keep Australia in mind. We're a big demographic over here in Australia. We make use of a lot of money. Yeah. So Animal Crossing. So what exactly are they talking about? So Nintendo of America, they tweeted out, tune in on February 20th at 6 a.m. PT, 9 a.m. ET, extraterrestrial. I assume that's what that stands for roughly 25-minute live stream.
I think every
Animal
time
Crossing.
I see it, and it's like,
Is it?
Yeah, a lot of the time, yeah.
And it's featuring an in-depth look at Nook Incorporated's Desert Island Getaway Package. So it's going to be like one of the trailers before when Tom Nook was like, this is my package. Oh, Jesus. This is my getaway package. And he's sort of like the tour guide. So I assume it's going to be presented by Tom Nook and it's going to go through.
Tour guide, overlord, it's interchangeable.
So I'm really looking forward to Animal Crossing. It's one of my most anticipated games.
Really?
Yeah, it is. I love Animal Crossing.
Oh, wow. Which have you played all the games?
I haven't played all of them. My first game was Wild World on the DS. And it was it was a game that I just sort of, I looked at the box art and I didn't really know much about it. I'm like, oh, I want to play this game.
You just saw that raccoon and was like, I like the look of, I like what that's going on here. You know? He's got a good look about him.
That raccoon is looking spicy. I just went in there and I just really, really enjoyed Wild World. I didn't really have many friends. I had, it was actually Olivia at school.
Right. Do you mean in general or in the game?
I mean, friends like you, who needs enemies? Am I right? No.
Friends who were playing Animal
Crossing.
Right.
Except for one friend Olivia at school, she played it, and really enjoyed it. Like I remember just like spending like watching TV, playing Animal Crossing. It's like, oh shit, it's almost 9 o'clock. I've got to get my fish in the Tom Nook. then all the shops are shut, and I'm just like fishing, chilling out. Everyone's in bed. I'm just fishing, collecting shells.
You're just watching Home and Away on the TV, and while you're doing your fishing,
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And New Leaf, I didn't get into it so much just because like that was when I said, all right, people, you need to get this game to play with me. And they played it for about a month and fell off. And sort of through that, I fell off it as well, which I was like, no.
So what would you say then that grabbed you in that first Animal Crossing game? Like what elements of it do you really enjoy?
It's just really chilled out and fun. You can just, if you're into collecting and just like the aesthetics of things, whether it's like decking out your house, like making the actual island or the village how you want it to be, it's just a lot of fun. And like the characters are really endearing, like the neighbours that move in. I had one neighbour, he was a squirrel. His name was Filbert. And I love Filbert. We go way back, man. We go back to 2005 in Wild World. And I was playing Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, and Filbert moved into my village, and I was like, Filbert, my man, he's back. He's back. And he is going to come to my desert island in Animal Crossing New Horizons, and we're going to have a hell of a time.
What does Filbert do for a job?
I don't know what Filbert, he's got like a real like jolly personality, really fun guy. To be honest, in Wild World, I didn't know if it was a guy or a girl, but I think it's pretty obvious he's a dude now. It's a bit more HD. I can see what's going on with that blue squirrel. I don't know if there's a Filbert amiibo. I don't think there was, because if I saw it, I would have bought it.
Yeah, you would own it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the Animal Crossing Direct. Looking forward to what's coming out, and just I guess while we're talking about directs in general, a lot of people have been waiting for a Nintendo Direct.
Have they? I haven't heard anything about that direct.
Now, Seamus, I don't know if you heard, but this is the biggest drought of Nintendo Directs we've ever had.
The biggest drought.
Oh, God. I am dry over here. My dampness has just evaporated.
Like we've had other directs. Like we've had, the Fire Emblem character reveal for Smash Bros. We had the Pokemon one earlier this year, but they're not real directs, are they, Drew?
No. No, they're just fake directs.
They're fake directs.
By fake Nintendo games. Smash Bros, Pokemon. Who plays them anyway? No, but seriously, like when they announce the direct, I'm gonna be like, yes, but I'm not like scratching for it necessarily.
Well, we were considering for the topic of the show trying to work out the exact date. How many days away it was going to be, but Drew was like, "No, we don't know, Seamus. No one's. It's not worth our time. It'll come when it comes." And I respected that.
Someone's got to. Someone's got to respect that, Seamus, because I certainly don't. Oh, dear. So next news story. So The Witcher 3 has a brand new patch on Nintendo Switch, which sort of unlocks cross-play with Steam and GOG, as well as some basic like visual improvements you can sort of toggle on and off. So this is sort of the press release from, from
old mate CD Projekt Red.
CD Projekt Red, yeah. Yep. It just left my head. Like a lot of important information, like my own birthday.
Yep.
Among the features introduced by Update 3.6 is a save file integration with Steam and GOG, allowing gamers to continue their PC adventure on the go, as well as HUD, menu, and Gwent touch control support. Additionally, the update expands the range of available text language options for selected regions, which is very exciting. Holy crap. More graphical settings can also be found in the following update, making it possible to customize visual fidelity. And you can go and have a look for all the dot points and all of that.
Drew, I do not appreciate this favoritism right now because I'm gonna be that person. It's not coming for PlayStation 4 and it's not happening for Xbox One. But for Switch, why is that, Drew? You know, I don't. What is this favoritism that's happening for Nintendo?
Yeah, well, I think Nintendo paid them lots. No, I don't think they did. I think, like, looking at it, with making the update, the Switch, it makes the Switch version of the game that much more valuable than before. Because before, it's like, well, it'll be good to play it on the go, but at the same time, I don't want to be stuck with the Switch version because it doesn't look as good, doesn't run as good. And The Witcher 3 is a game that you just really want to be immersed in with its graphics and its, you know, just everything about it. So being able to like play on your PC, have it as good as like the best that game can be
at home, and enjoy it in the way I guess it was meant to be to a degree. But then when you're going to work on public transport, you're going on holiday, you can bring it with you and it'll still be a really good experience. Yeah, and I do think like this for PS4 and Xbox One will come eventually. I think they actually said that they're not doing it. Oh, really? Yeah, they're just not doing it for. Which is a bit of a shame because I have The Witcher 3 on PS4. Same. So it'd be cool to actually play it on PS4 and be like, all right, I'm going to move it. But maybe just the options weren't there for that type of thing. Perhaps. Well, this is something that happened recently for Divinity Original Sin 2. They added that support between Nintendo Switch and PC. And I totally agree with what you were saying about it. It makes a lot of sense to be able to, when you're at home, be able to play on PC and then take it with you on your Switch and have that cross-play experience. I think it's really cool. You know, I don't mind that much that it's not on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I doubt people who play on those consoles mind that much either. It's just a cool thing that's it's happened at all for Switch and PC. Like that's awesome. Yeah, and it makes me say, maybe I should get the Switch version. Then like, I don't have it on PC. It'd be nice to play it on PC. Then you buy 2 versions of the game, but you end up never playing it. It's too long. No. Maybe I'll go back to it. You know, I do want to go back to it. I got 50 hours into it originally and was really enjoying it. But there's just it's a long game. It's a great game. There's just a lot of games. Yeah. When like I bought the game when it came out, and this was when I was living at the farm, and at the farm we had an 8 gig cap, and when the game wanted an update, it updated like the HUD and everything to make it much better. But on PS4, for some reason, if you want the update, you also had to download the DLC along with it. Like even if you haven't bought it, you had to download it. And that was a 20 gig download. And even if I took it to Bryce's in town, that would have been like a 2-day download. And that would have like shut down his internet for those 2 days because it was that slow on ADSL2. So I'm like, I can't update it. And looking at sort of the changes they made to the menus and it just made it so much easier and snappier. I just went, well, I won't play it. So I played it once. I did some side quests and I was like, this is fantastic. Like the side quest when you go down the well and everything and meet like the ghost of this woman. That was a long time ago. I can't exactly what it was. But I was like, wow, this is like just the amount of like story in each little corner of that game is just awesome. But yeah, that's as far as I got, unfortunately, because of that. Now's the time, Drew. Now's the time. Yeah, well, I can download it all now. I've got no excuse now. You don't, yeah. But it's been 5 years, literally. Holy crap. Yeah. 2020. Oh my God. All right, next story, Seamus. So the Sonic movie could earn $64.3 million in 4 days and could surpass Detective Pikachu. So this is from My Nintendo News. The Sonic the Hedgehog movie could potentially be the best-selling video game feature adaptation debut of all time and could overtake the mighty Detective Pikachu. No one overtakes the mighty Detective Pikachu in my house, I'll tell you what. The Sonic movie is expected to gross $64.3 million during the first 4 days on sale, and if it does so, then Detective Pikachu would be knocked to second place. The Pokemon-themed film managed to earn $58 million during the first 4 days. It is safe to say that Sonic the Hedgehog movie has performed better than many have expected. I think it's very safe to say it's... How the hell is this going to take over Detective Pikachu? Yeah, it is pretty surprising to myself, honestly, because I won't think Sonic would appeal to a younger generation that much. But although they did do the Sonic Boom like TV show, anime show and stuff, so maybe they have built up a lot of a younger audience, as well as obviously the older audience that grew up playing Sonic games. So
Even with that in mind,
Pokemon, a Detective Pikachu movie. Now, I guess a Detective Pikachu movie, it's not straight Pokemon 2000. It's a little bit. It's a weird. It's a weird movie. It's a little bit different for.
So is
for
this
Pokemon.
though? I guess.
So is this. Yeah, definitely. The Sonic movie is very odd. And watching the trailers and stuff before, I was kind of like, this looks like it could be a bit of fun, I guess, but I'm not going to rush out to see it. But obviously, there is a large amount of people who are like, you know what? I'm down to see wacky Sonic just be silly, run around the world, do lots of silly things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before they made the changes to his face.
The original design was not good.
When I saw it, I'm like, oh man, I've got to see this. This is going to be such a train wreck. It's going to be so funny. I'm going to enjoy it. But they changed it, and it's like, oh, this looks like it looks like it's just going to be like a mediocre movie now because he looks normal.
Yeah, and that's how I felt.
Kind of wrecked it.
I thought it was just going to be kind of average, but I've heard relatively decent things, not amazing things, but just like, yeah, it's a bit of fun. And
Bryce and I are going to go and see it on Tuesday. Yeah.
I look forward to hearing your impressions of it on the episode next week.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say about it, really. I'm not really looking forward to seeing it. It's just kind of something to do, really. I like going to the movies. I like getting...
I do too.
I like getting my popcorn. I like getting my Coke. And if I'm feeling really adventurous, I'll get some Maltesers. I'll throw in some chocolate in there. And how I eat it is I have the popcorn. I have the Malteser. It really breaks up that saltiness. When you have the drink, you have the Coke, it washes it down. You start again, cleanses the palate, back to the popcorn. You just keep rotating that through.
Drew, I think it'd be best for your audience just to come clean if you're being sponsored by any of these companies that you're just spruiking right now.
Companies? What, popcorn? I guess Coke and Maltesers.
Coke and Maltesers, yeah.
No, House Murray is sponsored by popcorn. Want a nice snack? Pop some popcorn. Don't get it in your teeth. All right. This is what Sonic the Hedgehog brings out on us. So the last couple of days, Seamus, a new Nintendo Switch Lite color has been revealed. First announced for Japan. Now Nintendo America has announced it.
Drew, what could surpass the Animal Crossing themed Switch that was announced very recently?
I think if a meteorite hit Earth and it opened up and there was life on a new planet, even that wouldn't match that Animal Crossing Switch, Seamus. But this is a close second. So Nintendo, they announced a coral Nintendo Switch Lite, so it's like a shade of pink, and it looks pretty nice.
It does, yeah. It looks nice. It's cute. It's only been announced for Japan so far, so don't get too excited.
And US.
Is it for US as well? Oh, great.
Yeah, and Nintendo America came out. I checked Nintendo Australia's Twitter. They have not announced it yet. But I could not imagine that, in this sort of age of worldwide releases and everything, if it comes to America, it wouldn't come to Australia.
That would be odd. However, the Animal Crossing one, they announced it straight away for Australia as well.
Yeah, true. And it has worked vice versa too. Like with the new 3DS, America only got the XL version, whereas we got the normal small version, and it never came to America. And it's sort of like they kind of look at it like different markets, different sort of strategies, and maybe they think Australians don't like coral.
They just don't like pink.
They look at our coral reef and say, well, it's not pink anymore. So,
Jesus, they're not wrong.
Yeah, maybe it's one of those situations like when, say, like an earthquake happens somewhere and someone's about to release was it MotorStorm Apocalypse on the Sony point? It's like, we better not release that. It's about earthquakes. Maybe they'll say, it's a bit of a touchy subject, the coral reef at the moment. Maybe we shouldn't release the coral version of the Nintendo Switch Lite. Just a thought.
Yeah, I think you've nailed it on the head right there. Yeah.
So if maybe when they do announce it, you can comment on their Twitter post and say that's a bit unsensitive, Nintendo Australia. Like, come on, really? Like, really, everything that's going on, really.
Drew, how many Switches do you own? Do you still just have your original Switch, or have you bought a Lite?
I've got 2 lights, Seamus.
What? Why do you have 2 lights, Drew?
Well, I have one for one eye and the other one for the other eye, so I can play. No. So I pre-ordered the Pokemon one. Big Pokemon fan. I like collecting Pokemon limited editions.
Fair.
With the
makes
3DS Pokemon editions, I never bought them because I'm like, it's a waste of money. I've already got a 3DS. How many 3DSs did I end up with? A lot. So that was it's a bit redundant in the end. But I pre-ordered it. I'm like, I like the look of it. I'm looking forward to Pokemon Sword and Shield. It's going to be like a collector's piece. And I also really, really liked the yellow. And I was at PAX Australia. They had a bit of a sale on it. I wanted the fun toy to play while I was on a bit of a trip. So I bought that. And I said, I'll cancel the pre-order for the Pokemon one because that was still about a month away. And, a couple of weeks later, I'm like, that Pokemon. I wouldn't actually mind keeping the Pokemon one. But when I went to pick it up and like paid for it, I'm like, it wasn't like a fun, like, yes, new console, really, really cool. It was like, I had like a really like sharp pain in my stomach. Like, why are you spending $300 on another Switch
When you already own 2.
Yeah, this one
Just
doesn't
for
even
you.
dock. What's wrong with me? But yeah, it's cool. It's got coloured buttons and it's got a Pokemon on the back. So that was cool.
Nintendo, they love you, Drew. They
should. They should. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
So this is a story from Vooks.net, which are...
They're a pretty cool site. I've heard of them before. Read a few of their articles.
Yeah, I was about to say they're friends of the show, but they probably don't like us, to be honest. They'll probably look at us and say,
That's a competitor. We hate them, if anything. It's probably the stance Vooks, I would say, take.
It's funny.
Knowing very little about the man.
Yeah, I haven't met Daniel myself, but I do remember back in the day I was a part of the Aussie Nintendo group, and at the same time, the Vooks had a forum as well. So they were sort of like arch enemies. I think there was like a bit of rivalry between them. Whether it was fun or not, I don't know. I was like 12, so I wasn't like into like all of that crap.
I didn't realize Vooks had been running for that long.
They've been running for a long time, and yeah, I was like, oh yeah, Vooks, the other guys. And
the other Nintendo fans based in Australia.
Yeah, the other Nintendo fans. Yeah. And at the end of the day, look who stuck around.
Yeah.
Look who you're getting your news from now, Drew. Who's the real winner here? We both are, I'll tell you what. So Untitled Goose Game steals Game of the Year at the DICE Awards 2020. So when I heard this, I was like, what? Love Untitled Goose Game, but so this is the article. We'll get into like sort of the other winners from previous years and just see how funny it is
in
stacked.
comparison. Yeah.
So Australian developers House have joined the esteemed group of developers this week. Untitled Goose Games was awarded Game of the Year at this year's DICE Awards. The DICE Awards are voted from a panel of people from within the games industry, including developers, publishers, and artists. They joined such esteemed companies as GoldenEye 2007, Half-Life 2, Breath of the Wild, Ocarina of Time, and other big games. House themselves calling the honour extremely weird, but also an incredible surreal honour. Other Nintendo nods include Super Mario Maker 2 for Best Family Game, Fire Emblem Three Houses for Strategy or Simulation Game, Luigi Mansion 3 picked up Best Character Animation, and most controversially, Mario Kart Tour won Best Racing Game Award. I do remember hearing
Really? That is odd. Well, can I just say Luigi's Mansion 3? I don't know if they deserve necessarily Best Animation. There's some incredible animation happening in games across the games industry and love games. But that is an amazing game, and it deserves any and all recognition it can get. So good on you, Luigi's Mansion 3.
Just give it bloody top game.
Yeah.
So, just going backwards. So, 2019, Untitled Goose Game won Game of the Year at the DICE Awards. And this is just going back to like the last 5 years. It's just like, wow. It must be like pretty cool for them. But yeah, as they said, really weird. So, 2018, God of War won. And then Zelda Breath of the
games ever made, yeah.
Yeah, the Zelda Breath of the Wild, 2001 in 2017.
Ever made.
Overwatch won in 2016. In 2015, Fallout 4 won. Then 2014, Dragon Age Inquisition won. So just like those games, it is good to see something like very different, because it is getting to the point now where it's like, just make something pretty, make it action and open worldish, and like you're pretty well positioning yourself to get to Game of the Year if it's a phenomenal game. If you make a phenomenal fighting game or a phenomenal racing game, whatever, it's not going to get to Game of the Year no matter what you do. But House, just with like the amount of clout and everything that it managed to get through, you know, the marketing through Nintendo Directs and sort of memeability with the goose and everything, they really like captured the internet in a real special way, and even to the point where a lot of people like look at it and go, you know, this is worth Game of the Year, like amongst like all of the great games that came out last year as well.
Yeah, it is cool to see it be mixed up. It is an awesome honor, especially for an Australian studio. Do I think they deserve it? Not really. it's a cool game. I enjoyed it a lot. I have heaps of friends and family who have enjoyed it as well. And yeah, it's impossible not to acknowledge the phenomenon it was, seeing it being reported by news outlets around the world, just being a cultural phenomenon, just breaking into every element of our modern society, which is awesome. And, you know, it deserves recognition. And I don't know the specifics of like what the criteria are for the DICE Best Game of the Year, or how it's judged. And maybe it's just the most popular, which, going by previous games, that would be fairly in line for it.
Yeah.
And if I were to think about some of the best games from last year, personally for me, it's like Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, which is a very different game.
A little bit, yeah.
a little bit. A much bigger and more in-depth game than Untitled Goose Game, and it's kind of impossible to compare them. So I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. It's cool. It's like good on them.
It gets into that sort of bit where it's like it comes so much down to just taste when you're putting all of these games against each other. When you've got categories where it's like best racing game, like, oh well, Forza was by far the best game this year in that category. But when it comes to like, all right, there's a lot of good games. You got Death Stranding. That's pretty weird. You've got Untitled
pretty
Goose.
Different to Forza. Yeah,
you got Untitled Goose Game. That was a bit different. Then you got like action games like Sekiro and
Control. Yeah, they're kind of you just can't compare them because they're so different. Because it's art. Like
I mean, I sort of agree with you. Like, probably not deserve, but probably isn't what I would say Game of the Year is. But take a win where we can for the Australian indie games. Absolutely.
Definitely. Yeah, you know, like it's an incredibly well designed game. Like, you want to talk about animation? Like, the animation for the design of that game is so well done for the comedy it's aiming for, the music, the art direction. It's like it's been amazing to watch. Like, even just the most recent Games Done Quick, there were some speed runs of it, and they were hilarious. They were fantastic, and it took over GDQ. Like, people were just screaming honk like every 5 minutes throughout the marathon. It was ridiculous, and it was awesome. It was hilarious, and I loved it. And it's been amazing to see, I guess, how much joy it's brought to people. And, you know, if you were to rate it based just on that, like, probably Untitled Goose Game deserves it, you know? So it's weird, but I agree. It's an awesome win for the Australian games industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It is.
It is, yeah. No, it's just, I was just thinking about how wide a range of news we've got today, yeah.
I was just thinking, like, I was going to say something, but then it disappeared from my head. So you're not going to hear it. So next up, Little Town Hero Big Idea Edition launches physically this June. And when I first saw this story, I'm like, oh, cool. You know, Little Town Hero is getting a physical edition.
Oh, you know, from that developer that's only ever developed, from my knowledge, games for Nintendo systems.
Yeah, well, there have been other games that have gone to other platforms, but this game is also getting a physical release on PlayStation 4, which is being published by NIS America, which, you know, publishes a lot of, you know, JRPGs and sort of those sort of niche type of games coming from elsewhere. But so this article comes from Nintendo Enthusiast, and it says, last month we reported on the news that Little Town Hero was getting a physical release. We know that something in the way there. Sorry. We know that when you accidentally put the mouse over the email thing and it pops up.
Yeah,
it did that, and now it's throwing me right off. Oh, it's done it again. Oh. Computers, am I right? We know that Little Town Hero Big Idea Edition will launch later this year, beyond the initial spring 2020 release window. The physical edition of the game will hit stores early in June, with dates staggered across 3 major regions. And just for a bit of context, Australia gets it last. Of course, we bloody do.
Hey, sometimes we get things first. We
do.
It goes both ways. Now, Drew, you said that they have brought some of their games to other consoles previously or platforms. Do you remember what they are? I'm just curious.
Yeah, so there's Tempo the Badass Elephant.
Did they do that game?
Yeah.
Oh.
And they got that published by Sega, and that came to PC, Xbox One, and PS4.
It came to everything, yeah.
Everything except for Nintendo, which was weird.
That's odd.
Yeah. And there's been, I'm forgetting the name of it, but it was just released on PC, and it came to Switch probably 6 months later. I forgot the name of it. I've been meaning to buy it, but it's a bit expensive for what it is, even when it's on sale, so I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But I just want to play it out of curiosity because it is Game Freak. It's unfortunate I forgot the name of it.
Oh, that's interesting, yeah.
Yeah, so there's that, and what else was there? And this was just a game where I just didn't expect it to come to another platform because it is more of an RPG. So I just, it's kind of it's more in line with Pokemon, what their bread and butter is. So yeah, and it does make me wonder, outside of Pokemon, if Game Freak do get another series that takes off, for example, maybe a quarter of what Pokemon is, or if it comes pretty big and they're all right, this is big enough for a sequel, are they going to try and get away from Nintendo? It seems like they've got no sort of allegiance to them. They are a second party, so
yeah, and they obviously want to be developing their own IP and have tried several times, have done so several times.
And yeah, it just seems like they're very, when they say there's they are a bit of an indie studio when they're talking about how they develop Pokemon, how they want to keep it tight knit and everything. And when it's the games with the IP they actually own, you do see that. You see them say release it on Switch and maybe get the funds up to say, all right, NES America, you publish on PS4 as well, and we've got the funds now to do physical editions for both platforms. So yeah, I do find that interesting, just from a stance of they're not just doing it on Nintendo platforms. Yeah. So in the collector's edition, you get a collector's edition box. You get the box, so that's cool. A copy of the game for Nintendo Switch or PS4 if you get it on there. Art book for the game titled Life in the Village. You get Is It or Does It poster. Haven't played through much of the game, so I don't know the context of that. You get the Defender Duo label pin set and a Town Tunes, the game's official soundtrack.
So a lot of typical things you get in collector's editions, yeah. So you've played a bit of it then, Drew, on the Nintendo Switch?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah, what are your impressions on it then? Because it seemed like an odd title from the gameplay and trailers I've seen of it.
Yeah, I can really barely talk on it, but I can really barely talk on it. It was a long time ago, and was it in October? I think I dabbled in it then. Work was pretty busy at the time, and I wasn't playing many games. I was just watching TV, sleeping.
Just busy, yeah.
Yeah. Then I have to talk about something on the podcast. I'm like, I farted, Not quite that, but yeah. It's just interesting. It's come to PS4 as a collector's edition. So this is from Nintendo Life, and Atlas reveals video recording guidelines for Persona 5 Scramble, the Phantom Strikers. So they've got a bit of a dot list of things you can't show on stream. And if you remember, there was a big list of things you couldn't stream or show for the initial Persona 5 launch as well.
Yeah.
So this is actually a fair bit. So I don't know if I want to go through it all. But
yeah, but what platforms is it coming to?
PS4 and Switch.
And Switch, okay.
Yeah, so it is on Switch. So not actual Persona 5, but we get this one.
Get pretty close. Not quite there, but yeah.
Yeah. So uploading screenshots or video requires you to use the console's own capture and share functions. Atlas will not allow screenshots or videos captured via personal capture cards. Well, okay. So you can't stream to Twitch then. Only upload videos to sites supported by the sharing features on Switch and PS4. If you are showing event scenes or story scenes, you must clearly mention that these are spoilers. Footage screenshots should also show that at Atlas, at Sega, at Konami Tecmo Games, all rights reserved. So you got to like put all that in. Do not use the gameplay footage for any other purposes other than showing gameplay. So you can't talk over it. You can't use it in a review. You can't, I assume what that means. Do not only upload the BMG music data or the gameplay footage for the main purpose of listening to the music. Okay, you can't.
There's a lot of things going on there. Yeah. So what is this game again? From memory, Drew, it is sort of a side game for the Persona series, which have done a few in recent years.
Yeah, so for Nintendo fans, I guess like Horror Warriors, Fire Emblem Warriors, sort of that type of game where you're running around hack and slashing one another. I think this has got like a lot of the Persona charm in it. A lot of people are very impressed with just the art style and how Persona is sort of fused into it. There's a demo on the Japanese eShop. People can go and download if they have a Japanese account. I don't have a Japanese account.
It's really easy to set up though. Yeah.
So I've set up a European and American one, but I haven't set up a Japanese one just yet. But when Hatsune Miku comes out early, I will be setting it up.
You will be there, yeah.
Ooh, baby. Relieve the
Hatsune Miku.
After the Hatsune Miku games come to Switch, all we need is Gravity Rush and
it'll be perfect.
We'll be fine. But Sony will just let that die. They'll let it die. So yeah, that was only half of the things, but we're not going to go through it all. Basically, if you want to stream this game, don't.
It's going to be just a hard time. Yeah, it's a really interesting stance to take, and I get wanting to protect like the story that you've worked on for a game over many years and keep that experience as new and fresh for new players coming in. But it's just, that's the thing. Once it's out there, people are going to do with it what they're going to do with it, and that's just how it is. That's how the internet is, and it's very it's very odd decisions.
Like Persona 5, you can see why they would want to do that. Like if you're 50 hours into the game and you upload something to Twitter and someone sees it and goes, "Oh, I'm only 20 hours in,"
and that could be a big spoiler. Yeah, but I feel like there is plenty of games out there like that now, and like yes, with Persona the story is hugely important, but I would say that about The Witcher 3. I'd say that about Dragon Age Inquisition. Yeah, I'd say that about even God of War, and God of War can be up to like 60 hours. So it's not like there isn't other huge games. There's plenty of other huge games out there with plenty of awesome stories that could be easily spoiled, and I kind of feel like that's on the users who are watching streams that should know best, and so I think it's a bit of an odd choice from Atlas to go this hard, to have this hard of a stance on it, but it's their property. They can choose how they want to go about it. So
like a lot of people, like, because I'm definitely not one of these types of people that just watch like a let's play, for example, like Resident Evil 7. People just like watch like PewDiePie play it and go, "Oh, that was a fun game," and just never buy it, never play it. And I've never, ever gotten why people do that. Like, I understand, like, I just want to know the story, know the game. It's free. I don't have to bother playing it. But for me, it's all about, like, the gameplay and getting immersed into it. Maybe it's a little bit, maybe that's what they're worried about. Maybe it being an RPG, a lot of people say, you know what, I don't have to play this. I just want to know the story and get through it.
Yeah, possibly. And so it can push people more to just actually having to buy it to get that experience themselves. And I guess I can appreciate that. Yeah. No, that's a fair point. But that's the thing. I feel like there's just always going to be ways people find routes around it.
Yeah.
Realistically. And the thing is, for some people, they might just not want to play it themselves. Maybe because it's a horror genre and they're kind of interested in it, but they would be too scared to play it themselves, and so they just enjoy watching it and still getting that experience in a different way. And maybe some people would be that with Persona, and this is kind of taking that opportunity to experience it in that way. away from them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'll do a lot more good though. Like a lot of people say, I've never seen this game before. I'm not into RPGs, and they might buy it because it looks cool. Or they might, see like a really cool story beat and go, wow, this game's got a really in-depth story. I'm going to buy it as well. So I think there's going to be probably more good for them than bad. But especially with this, like this is an action game anyway. So it is a game that like, you do want to get your hands on and play that way. But
True, yeah.
All right, so Persona. So this is a little bit old, but we haven't been here for 2 weeks, Seamus. The House of Mario's a bit cold. Haven't had the heater on. Just stoked the fire. We're just sort of warming back into things. So this is from going
in the middle of summer here in Australia.
Yeah, well,
it has been a bit cold.
It's pretty cold. Yeah,
after some ridiculously hot weather. Yep.
Yeah, well, not down here. It's been you've got like 135 Dave, and it goes back to 22, but I digress. So this is from Go Nintendo and Pokemon Co. Track the Pokemon Sword and Shield info leak back to the gaming press member and cut all ties with the outlet. So back in late last year, before the game's release,
before Pokemon Sword and Shield were released,
the Pokemon started leaking out, and I know personally for me, I was like really annoyed by it because I wanted to go in fresh, not knowing anything. Then like the starters started leaking and certain Pokemon started leaking, and I was trying to avoid it for the first couple of days, and then it got to the point where like there's someone in I think it was like the Adelaide Connection group. They're like, "Oh guys, check out the starters. What do you think?" That's just on my Facebook feed. It's right there. I've like even if I go like just scroll as fast as I can, I've still seen them. I still know what they are. So and then like it just comes up on your feed, and I know a lot of people say, "Or just don't look at them." Or unfollow all of the accounts,
but it's hard to just disconnect yourself entirely from that. Yeah, and like you said, you're just going through Facebook that you use to follow lots of different things, and it will just come up. It's not like you want to leave all these Facebook groups. I guess you could maybe mute them. I can't remember what the functionality is for that, but yeah, it's this type of thing where people are this excited for the games because they're huge games. It's going to show up. Like, it's going to be thrown in your face when leaks like this happen because it's going to be newsworthy. People will go be excited for it, and so they're going to share it.
Yeah, so seeing this news that the culprit was caught was good. So, good.
Whip bastards.
Justice is served. So
throw them in the dungeon.
Send them to death.
So and
no one leaks my Pokemon game.
And that's the thing. We were talking a little bit about this before the show, and I wasn't fully aware of all the details, but the fact that it was intentional leaks by this outlet to leak this information, which was very obviously embargoed.
Silly move.
Very, very silly move, and I don't really question this decision. That's the thing, in the games industry and with media in general, a lot of it is about relationships, and because we're human. At the end of the day, we're human, and we need to work together regardless of the industry or what jobs we're doing within each industry. And if you don't follow the rules, if you decide to go out and do your own thing and possibly ruin a lot of plans of another company such as Nintendo, they're probably not going to like it, and they're probably not going to want to work with you, which I think is kind of fair.
Yeah, because you've worked on that side of the industry, like handing out codes to outlets and all that type of thing. So if somebody did that to you while you were working there, would you have said, "Oh no, that's fine," or would you have cracked down and sent the dogs out?
Yeah, it is just general professional courtesy, really.
Yeah, it's just manners.
It's just respect for different parts of the industry and different crafts, because we all have to work together to make the wheel turn, more or less. And if media outlets were, and this has been somewhat of a controversial topic over the last several years, as outlets such as Kotaku have been blacklisted by companies such as, I think it was both Bethesda and Ubisoft for leaking
Assassin's
Creed and about Bethesda games. And that's up to those companies. That's their decision to blacklist them if they feel these outlets are not going to portray their games fairly, although I don't think that was necessarily the case. It was just whether it was
sick of liking them. Stop it, boys.
Yeah, as a form of punishment for doing what some people would say is their jobs, for other people would say it isn't necessarily Their jobs, like, and the thing is, there is a lot of work that goes in behind the scenes into these announcements, and it is really exciting for the people who have worked on these games, possibly for years. And you know, it's a special moment to be able to share it, and in the way that they choose to do it, the people who have created this product, and so it can really take the wind out of your sails and be disappointing when someone decides to disrespect a relationship or agreement you may have, and to decide to just say, screw you, I'm going to share this information that was confidential, whether it's to get clicks, whether it's for fun, whatever it may be. Yeah, it's just disrespectful. And so I don't have a lot of sympathies for the outlet that have been blacklisted. Maybe more so if it was an individual who went rogue and did this on their own accord for the outlet, and the rest of the outlets being punished. That kind of sucks for them.
Yeah, so that's what it sounds like. So I'll read the article. So it says Nintendo and Pokemon Co. Suffered an absolute huge leak on Pokemon Sword and Shield before the games launched, with tons of details scattered about online for all to see. Pokemon Co. obviously weren't happy about this, and they set out to track down the people responsible. Unbelievably, the two companies have managed to find the exact source behind the leak, and it was a member of the gaming press. It turns out the leak came from a member of the Portuguese Nintendo fan site, F Nintendo. I think it's just F Nintendo is one word. So that sounds weird in English, at least. I don't know what that F Nintendo just sounds like. Yeah, fuck Nintendo. Leak the game. That's what it sounds like, doesn't it? Nintendo and Pokemon Co. have cut all ties with the site and shared the statement below. So this is a statement from Nintendo themselves. In early November, Nintendo identified a number of photographs taken of gameplay that revealed multiple new and unannounced Pokemon from Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. These photographs had been posted online, and Nintendo, together with the Pokemon Company, quickly identified the person responsible for these leaks and took immediate action. These Pokemon were leaked by a reviewer for the Portuguese website F Nintendo, who had received an early copy of the game for review purposes. Both he and F Nintendo failed to handle confidential material, resulting in a clear breach of Jesus, I'm going to skip it. I think I said it right anyway. I don't know why I'm still on it. Agreement between Nintendo and the media outlet. As a result, Nintendo will no longer work with F Nintendo. Nintendo will always protect its intellectual property and brands. Leaks hurt not just Nintendo, but the thousands of employees who work hard to bring these games to market, and the millions of fans around the world who look forward to the news and surprises. To surprises and to delight players through new experience is a shared passion of Nintendo and the Pokemon Company. We will provide all avenues to preserve surprises for players in the future Pokemon titles. So that last bit there says we're going to not give out many review codes at all. Only trusted outlets, probably what you're looking at with, at the top with IGN, and maybe down to, I don't know if like places like we're reading this off of Go Nintendo, Nintendo Life, Nintendo Enthusiast, these places we go for, I guess, like hardcore Nintendo news. Don't know if it will be, those type of outlets will get it, but it is disappointing because like this year, I was like talking to Nintendo Australia saying like, can we get review codes? And they said, oh, well, we'll put your name down. We'll see how you go. And it seemed like it was going to be like, might get a code on release day or something. I was looking forward to it because getting access to a Pokemon game would just be amazing for me because I'm a big fan of the series, and I was looking forward to doing content and stuff around it
and covering it.
Yeah, and just like covering the game in general, which we did anyway. It didn't affect too much of that. It was just we had to cram it all in the first weekend to get it out by the next episode. But like for us small guys, we got absolutely no hope now because like Nintendo Australia, like they're already like they've already got restrictions compared to say other outlets of Nintendo. So, and us being as small as we are, like, it's going to, when they're really going to be protective of leaks, they're not going to be giving a code to the House of Mario. So
yeah, it's unfortunate that someone has to ruin the party for everyone else. And it's hard to disagree with what they say in that statement. And it's totally their right to do that and choose how they share review codes and their games with media outlets. And I'm actually kind of amazed there isn't more leaks in the games industry in general, because especially for projects like Pokemon, which are so huge and there's so many moving parts, especially when it comes to marketing and promotion across the entire world, it is amazing that there is not more leaks. So I'm not surprised this happened. It's disappointing, but
It usually happens.
Yeah. And so I'm not surprised. It's disappointing, and like I said, it hurts not only the company's brand and image to a degree, but the people who have worked on it, who kind of ruins the surprise, because it ruins the surprise a bit for hardcore fans such as you, like you were saying just before. So it's kind of just shitty for everyone. Because
especially with that Sun and Moon, they told us everything about that game, and going into that game there was no discovery, so it actually affected my enjoyment of the game. Their marketing had a pretty serious consequence on my enjoyment of the product. Whereas with this, I think they learned their lesson. I think they heard loud and clear that a lot of people were like me, and Pokemon's about discovery, and telling people what's in it takes away the discovery and takes a lot away from what makes the series special. So, we didn't know the starters. We didn't know a lot of the Pokemon. We knew Corviknight, but we didn't know it evolved from the bird on Route 1, for example. But through the leaks, we found that out, and going into Route 1, we're like, oh, yeah, there's Corviknight's pre-evolution, and it just there's a lot to love in that game, and I came out just really glowing. I still am glowing about the game, but yeah, I just wish that leak never happened in the end. So yeah, there is a statement from the F Nintendo themselves,
right?
And should I read it, or basically what they said what they have basically done is they've they fired the
parted
editor.
ways with the individual who did the leaks,
Which is, I don't know how they couldn't, because I dare say they're like, oh, well, we might repair the relationship with Nintendo in 20 years, so we better start now.
Well, and then it's just not someone that other companies would trust with information either, or trust their outlet knowing that someone like that who has leaked pretty important things like that previously.
Yeah, if they're trying to get codes from Atlas for their games, or
Ubisoft or
anyone,
EA or whoever it may be.
Because I guess at least with Kotaku, for example, if they get blacklisted by Bethesda, it's like, oh, well, we'll cover EA, we'll cover Nintendo, we'll cover
and they can still find ways around it.
Yeah. But if you're a Nintendo fan site and you get blacklisted by Nintendo, it's like, oh, damn.
It's pretty brutal.
Yeah, it's like, we'll just talk about everything else that isn't a first-party Nintendo game. And just keeping on the Pokemon news, so this is just a quick one. A new Pokemon was teased. So the Pokemon company have teased a brand new mythical Pokemon. It's just the silhouette of it at the moment, and they say, "Stay tuned, trainers." So there's no time yet. It looks like a pretty ferocious animal, compared to the mythical Pokemon. So their Mew, Celebi, Jirachi, Shaman. They're pretty cute little fluffy things, really. Whereas this looks like it's going to rip out your throat. Just looking by the silhouette, it's got big claws, kind of like a standing up cat. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what it is and how they introduce it into the games, whether it's through an event or they just give it to you through a Wonder Gift, which is been unfortunately how they've been doing it in the series lately. Just go to the Pokemon Center, say, hey, we've got a package. This super rare Pokemon no one's ever seen before.
Here you go. Yeah.
Because back in the day, you would have gone to a secret island, would have captured it. You would have had that sense of exploration and discovery, which I was talking about before.
Who knows, Drew? Maybe they'll do that. The expansions are coming. Maybe it'll be a part of that. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, excited about it. I'm fucking thrilled about it, actually, Seamus. So... And just another quick Pokemon thing. So, episode 2 of Twilight Wings. Think about Sonic the Hedgehog. I just can't get it out of my head. Pokemon Twilight Rings episode 2 has aired on YouTube. Go and watch it. It's only 6.5 minutes.
It's cute. It's a cool little series. Episode 2, I liked a lot more than 1. Had a quick watch just before we started the episode. Yeah, it's cute. It's cool. The animation's really nice, actually. Yeah. And it's cool just to see Pokemon in a more natural kind of way, just being living in the world and doing normal things. And it's a fun little watch. Yeah, and it features Bay, the fighting gym leader, which Seamus didn't play because he played Pokemon Shield. No, I had the Ghost Boy. With no face, and I can't even remember his name. Bob the Ghost Boy. Yes. And I can actually play the first bit of the episode, Seamus. Just audio only, of course.
Area. Right. So I'll be away from the gym for a few days.
Yes, you will. All right.
You can go watch that on the Pokemon YouTube channel.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's all the news, Seamus. We got there in the end.
We got there.
All right.
That was a reasonable amount. There's a lot.
yeah.
There's always a lot going on in the world of Nintendo.
Yeah, and a couple of news stories came from a week or so ago. So it was a big week. Yeah. So as far as the Animal Crossing news goes, it might have already happened by the time you're listening to this, and you probably turned it off because you're not talking about Animal Crossing, so you've already thrown the podcast in the bin. But I should
Your phone, the computer, your car, whatever you're using to listen to it, in the bin.
Yeah, just the whole stereo, just rip it out. Yeah, but I will be doing a bonus episode just talking about what happened in the Nintendo Direct. Hopefully, I'll get someone. If that someone is you and you like Animal Crossing, jump on the podcast.
It won't be me because I know almost nothing about Animal Crossing.
You know who Filbert is?
I do.
You know who Filbert is. Everyone knows who Filbert is. If you don't, what's wrong with you, honestly?
True, he doesn't even have an amiibo. He can't be that interesting or important.
Yeah, well, shit. Maybe they'll make one.
Just for you.
Yeah. So I guess with this new soundboard, so for sort of the, I guess, topic of the show, we're going to be moving to a brand new room. And that room is going to be called Reggie's Rec Room. And in Reggie's Rec Room, we're going to be using his phone this week. Seamus, you're laughing. What's wrong with Reggie? He's got his own room. It's absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So we're going to move into Reggie's Rec Room. It's going to be good fun. And we're going to use his phone to call an old friend. So let's jump into it. Oh, yeah.
Hi, Nintendo fans.
Oh, it's Reggie.
Reggie here. Thank you for your never-ending support, for giving me a mushroom kingdom full of incredible memories that I will never forget. Ever.
All right. So we're in Reggie's Rec Room. It's pretty chill in here. It's pretty chill in here, Seamus. It's fantastic.
Can I please just say how great these themes are that you've done, Drew? They're amazing. I love them
It's
so
only the
much.
beginning, Seamus.
Oh.
Only the beginning. See, it's really fun using these sound effects.
It's great.
We can leave the music there going for a
Yeah,
bit.
please do.
We'll turn it down a bit. Reggie, you got a great taste of music. You can't talk to us anymore. He's only got those few words.
He's a ghost now. He's gone.
See, what I wish this soundboard could do is just have
Reggie inside it.
yeah,
so you
Reggie
can talk
inside
to
it.
him.
So he's like Siri. It's like, hey Reggie, what's going on? My body's ready. Well, that's fantastic. It's got to be ready.
I'm sure there's enough voice clips out there from Reggie that you could almost put together Siri like Reggie bot.
Oh my god!
And I'd be disappointed if you didn't make it happen, Drew. Now that we've talked about it.
I mean, I don't have the knowledge to make that happen. But if someone out there wants to make an operating system that is Reggie, that'd be fantastic. That'd be a really good asset.
I would use it.
I would too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say I'll wipe Siri off of my phone and I'll put Reggie on there, and he'll be like, "Where am I?" On my phone, it's like, "Oh, I've got no body. How can I be ready?" So when I said calling an old friend, I meant Bryce DeWitt. Bryce hasn't been on the show for a little bit. I can't find his number. There he is. So he hasn't been on the show for a little bit. So we've got to get him on. So we're going to give him a phone call, and we are sort of testing out the sort of Bluetooth capabilities of this machine. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to doing just phone call segments on this show. So whether it's when Bryce is back, we can call Seamus, we can call our friends, and we can talk.
I'm not a friend. Yeah,
we can call Seamus or our friends. Yes, we can call Seamus all our friends, and it could be friends who don't have a microphone or a podcast set up, and we don't want to talk to them for an hour because we don't like them that much. But we can talk to them 15 minutes about whatever it is. I think it'll be a really interesting sort of dynamic thing to add to the podcast.
Yeah. Well, and with the whole new equipment that you have and the sound effects and everything, it makes it very much more like radio. And the phone calls is as well. You're almost just doing a radio podcast show, which is cool. I like it.
Yeah. So let's hit the call button on. Okay, he's got two numbers here. I won't ring his home phone. So okay, let's turn her up. So let's see how this works. It's calling Bryce. So in the meantime, Seamus, how's your life going? You there, Bryce? Oh no, I can't hear him. This is awkward. Damn. It's like counting down, but I can't hear him. You there, Bryce? You big old Bryce. You there, Bryce? God damn it. Well, that was our... Hello? Bugger. That's a shame. Who else can we call?
Is it all hooked up? It's all working with the...
Yeah. It says it's the Bluetooth song.
Okay, cool.
Oh, well, that's a shame. Well, that's how the first test went. Went pretty bad. Went pretty bad.
But we've still got some nice music here. Still having a good time.
Oh, hold on. We'll try again. So what I did, Seamus, is I actually turned up the wrong lever.
There's a lot. Now, for those who are listening, which is everyone, there is a lot of levers on this new piece of equipment that Drew's got. So I don't blame him.
Well, you should. Turn down the music again. Reggie, turn down that goddamn music. Goodness sakes. Calling mobile. This is wonderful, isn't it, Seamus?
Just hanging out, Cole and friends.
Yeah.
Talking about Nintendo stuff.
Now, in the future, I am hoping this is a bit more quick. Now, can we hear Bryce? No. I got a message from Bryce saying try again. This is rather frustrating. Maybe I should just ring him on Messenger. Maybe that'll work better for me.
Maybe.
Messenger, yes.
Now, Drew, while you're getting that organized and set up, there was another game that I've been playing recently called Coffee Talk. Have you heard of it?
I have heard of it, yes.
Yeah. I've actually been looking forward to it for a while, and it's... Oh,
there we go.
now it's coming through. Okay, I'll tell you about Coffee Talk after.
Okay, please do.
After we talk to Bryce.
If he picks up.
If he picks up, you know.
Big bastard. Pick up your phone, mate.
He's Oh.
Hey, Bryce DeWitt, you're on the House of Murray. How you going, mate?
Good, mate. How are you?
That's good. So, Bryce,
Uncle Drew.
Uncle Drew? Oh, he's got it. Bryce, your phone's just black. I can't see anything. Bryce, you're on a podcast, mate. Come on.
No, you can't. Mate, I thought you would be ringing earlier than this. I'm taking Jade to work.
Oh. Oh, fair enough. Sorry about that. Well, Seamus and I got caught up in conversation, so yeah. Are you able to talk at the moment, or should we ring back later? Okay.
Oh, 15 minutes anyway.
All right. Well, yeah, we can podcast longer, I guess. All right.
All right, mate. I'll put you in 15 minutes.
All right. Give me a ring when you're ready, all right, mate? And we'll go from there. All right. We'll go back to Reggie's rec room. See you, mate.
All right, mate.
Bye. Well, fantastic. This is just wonderful content. Wonderful content. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, that's how our first little test went. Bryce has taken his missus to work, and here we are.
Great timing.
Great timing
on our part.
Great timing on our part. So, Coffee Talk, Seamus. What's Coffee Talk all about?
Coffee Talk.
Because I was interested in getting this.
You were, or you still are?
I still are.
Oh, okay, good. Just checking. So, it's very similar to a game called, if I'm going to say it correctly, Valhalla, the bartending game.
Yeah, okay, yep.
They came out a few years ago where it was like cyberpunk world, and you were a bartender, and you worked in the cool bar and cyberpunk future, serving drinks and talking to the interesting clientele that came in. And it was a hit. It was a cult hit. It did really well. And we've seen some similar games come out since then. There's actually a sequel, I believe, coming out for that game. But Coffee Talk is very similar vein, but set in a more similar era to ours, like a very modern Seattle, America, but in a fantasy setting. So there's elves, there's orcs, there's vampires, and there's humans as well. Just sort of living in a normal modern society. You know, there's just all these cool other races in there as well. But it's set in a coffee shop, and you're in the coffee shop, and you get all these interesting characters come in over time, over the course of a few weeks, and you learn about their lives, you serve them coffees. And it's a game I've been following for several months now. It's been made by an Indonesian developer out of Jakarta, actually, which is I think is really cool just to see more Asian developers start to become more prominent, making more interesting games and titles. I think that's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Asia's such a huge region, and there's lots of great developers out there, and so it's great to see them getting just more coverage, like Coffee Talk. And so I've been looking forward to it. Just seemed like a chill game, a nice game with an interesting story, and I loved it. It was such a great game to chill out with at the end of the day, after work. Really just lovely, wholesome characters that I enjoyed spending time with and learning more about, and serving them coffee and tea as well. And it was great learning about. That's the thing. I'm not a huge coffee person. I don't really drink coffee. I'm more into my teas. But it was cool learning actually how to make different coffees, although in a very rudimentary sort of way. But at least even just what the ingredients are, and a few more unique coffees and teas from around the world, like from Indonesia or from Morocco. And so I actually learned just a bit about drinks through playing Coffee Talk. So that was a cool element. So yeah, I would highly recommend it. It's on Nintendo Switch, it's on PlayStation 4, it's on Xbox One, it's on PC, it's on everything. So you have no excuse. It's reasonably priced. It's not super long either, which I think it finished at a good place where I wanted more, but I wasn't, overwhelmed or been going on for too long. It was a good sweet spot.
Yeah, you're satisfied enough with it.
Yeah. And there's actually, from what I can tell, a lot of different story elements that can break away. So depending on choices you make, specifically in the drinks you make, because you don't have any real choices in the dialogue, you sort of just go through and it automatically answers for you. Like, you sort of have your own personality that the game has already decided for you, which is written fairly well, but it's more the choice in the drinks you serve. So you can mess up the drink orders, which can have an impact on the customers and the reactions, and even change the course of the story in some degree. So you can have slightly different story to what I had based on the drinks you served and how well you served them, which is it's cool. So I'd love for you to play it, Drew, and hear like what happens in your story.
Yeah, because when I was going through the eShop and I saw it when it was on pre-order. I was, oh, cool, that sounds like cool. And I put it in my shopping cart or my wish list. And being meaning to, it's one of the games I'll get when either I'm looking for that type of experience, or it's on sale or whatever have you. But yeah, it seems like it's a really nice, easy, sort of like chilled out sort of game where it's about the conversations and everything. And when I saw it, I'm like, oh, that's what I'm into. But yeah, it wasn't out yet. So yeah, there's so many indie games. I'm like, oh, that looks good. Put it in the wish list. And it's just growing.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, as part of my job, like I see indie games maybe more than most people, most definitely. And it is crazy how many innovative games are being created all the time now, pushing boundaries in regards to storytelling, in regards to art styles, in regards to design, and just unique experiences as well. And there's just not enough time to play them all. There just isn't. But thankfully, most of them come to Switch, and that means you can play them in bed, which is where I play my Switch a vast majority of the time.
Yeah, I play it a lot in bed. I play it a lot on the couch while just watching TV.
Yeah.
I've actually, like with Pokemon, I have been playing it more in the dock. I just like seeing it on the dock because
it's the first proper home console Pokemon.
Wanted it for a long time,
yeah,
and we finally got it. Yeah,
and I played it primarily on handheld. I'd say 99% of the time.
Yeah, I really wanted them to like port like the older games to it, and just play them on the TV too. That'd be cool.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. I was talking to someone about that recently, about the potential of that, and I was kind of like, Nintendo would be crazy not to. Because like people love that, they will buy that. You'd buy that. I'll probably buy it. Yeah,
absolutely. Oh, here we are. We've got Bryce DeWitt.
Timing.
Bryce DeWitt coming back to the House of Mario. Bryce DeWitt, you're on the House of Mario. How you going, mate? Oh, come on, audio. It's not on the Roadcaster. Bloody hell. Bryce DeWitt, you're on the House of... Oh, Jesus Christ. What are you up to over there?
What am I up to? Jesus, how turned up have you got me? I'm just getting the kids out the car. Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, good. So, how are the kids, Bryce? That's the first question. How are the kids going?
Good, mate, except I have to wake them up to take Dad to work because he hasn't got a license. So I got to pack them up in the car, then bring them home, then put them back to bed. So,
All right.
yeah, that's what I'm currently doing.
So you're doing that while... So you're a man of many talents, Bryce. You carry your kids, you can podcast at the same time. It's very exciting.
Drew, I'm multi-talented, all right? That's why I'm in this business.
Oh, well, we know that, Bryce. We know that. You're very multi-talented. I've seen you pick your nose and scratch your butt more than a few times, that's for sure.
It's a pretty magnificent sight, isn't it, really?
It really is. Really is. So I guess the main point of giving you a call, Bryce, is you haven't been on the podcast for about 2 months or so. You know, no one's counting. You know, I'm not counting, that's for sure. I'm not doing the show every week still. But, you know, how are things going? Because we know Seamus is holding his nose here.
It's okay, Seamus, you can breathe.
I was scratching my...
No, he's trying to suffocate himself. He's sick of talking to me. He's looking for a way out. But no.
Oh, so the PU fine.
So Bryce, you know, how have you been the last a few months? How you been? You know, I guess just update the audience of what's been going on.
Okay. Well, I'll try to keep it brief so that I sort of don't over detail it. You right, Evie? Yeah, she's good. Okay. So the original plan was that I was only going to take about a month off just so I could get my stuff together. I was going to go back to education. I was supposed to start a new job started this year, but it didn't work out, unfortunately. So I said, all right, well, I'll still take the month off, get myself sorted out with education, get myself back into the swing of things. But we had a family death end of January, and that's kind of flipped my entire world around and changed a lot of things. So I said, all right, well, I'm going to need more time to sort things out. So I'll just have to delay it a little bit longer, but March will be the month that I come back.
Bryce is back. Back again. Marchie's back. Marchie's back. Marchie's back.
Yeah, hello, friend. Yay.
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah.
I'm also curious, just from I'm just curious on how this sounds on your end. What do we sound like through the phone?
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
This would have to be like the most clear phone call you've ever had. I hope. Hope no one's talked to you on the phone through like 18, 20, like 35s before.
It isn't, because you have to understand one thing about like
Yeah, I know.
cellular calls is that they're shit quality.
Yeah.
I'm just putting this under bed. All right.
Can you put Evie on the phone?
You ready for some sick Wiggles music?
Oh, I guess, yeah.
There you go.
That's great.
All right, buddy. Good night. Come on, Evie. I can put Evie on the phone. You want to talk to us, Drew?
Yeah, I want to know. Hello, Evie. How are you going?
Good.
That's good. How's your Nintendo Switch going? You got one for Christmas?
Yeah.
What's your favorite game?
Do you like it?
Yeah.
What's your favorite game on your Switch?
Yeah.
YouTube. There you go.
Is that just
Good
what she
answer.
does? Yeah, that is a good answer.
I mean, that's kids in a nutshell these days.
YouTube. That's
She plays
amazing.
a lot of Kirby and Astro Bear Party,
Oh,
though. Those are
beautiful.
the two other things.
Does she have her own profile? Because it'd be interesting to go to like how many hours she's put into YouTube.
Yeah, she's got her own profile. I'll pick up her Switch in a minute and I'll let you know.
No, please do. Please do. Good to know this
Yeah, she wants
information.
to get the Lego Movie 2 game thing, but yeah, that can wait for Easter or something maybe.
Yep.
It's only like $40 or something, the Lego Movie 2 game or something. You want to hop into bed, hun? All right. You want to say good night to Drew and Sean?
Good night.
Good night.
Say
Good night.
night, Evie.
No.
Say goodbye to the House of Mario audience as well.
Bye, Jenny.
There we go.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And on goes Kirby right back at you, and I am hands-free. Good night, sweetheart.
Night.
No. All right. Okay.
All right.
Now I
So,
only have the dog to worry about.
oh, not the dog, surely.
No, not the dog. Anyway, continue.
Is there anything else you want to bring up to the people listening or anything, really, before we let you go?
Well, while I'm checking Evie's Switch to see her YouTube hours, I guess I just want to thank the audience for their patience. I know I'm like not high in demand to come back. Like, bring them back, otherwise the show's cancelled. But like, you know, this isn't the first time I've obviously had to do something like this, and this year's been extra important. It's been very, very, very taxing emotionally, and it was really necessary for me to take the time and just relax and get through it. So, thanks, audience, very much for putting up with me, I suppose. And I'll be back in March.
Excellent.
And play activity
This is the
for
important bit.
YouTube is 250 hours or more.
Holy crap. That's more than any
And
Apple
Kirby
game on
Star
my
Allies-
Switch.
And Kirby Star Allies, she's played for 10 or more, which is the only game that she's actually got that's physical.
Yeah. It is funny because even if the Switch is the only device I've got, I actively try to avoid YouTube because I don't want YouTube displaying more than another game when people go to look at it. I don't know why. So,
Yeah.
like my sort of like the aesthetic of it will look weird if like, oh, this guy's played a lot of YouTube, but he hasn't played much games.
Well, I think the thing with me is that, well, with her, I'm kind of looking at it the perspective as maybe I might get rid of it soon because, like, YouTube is great and kids watch it all the time. Like, there's no doubt about that. And, you know, to some degree, there's some good stuff on YouTube. There's also some terrible stuff. And
yes.
she spends a lot of time watching just random crap. And sometimes, you know, we're not keeping an eye on her and we know what some people are like with YouTube. It's not always completely kid friendly. So I'm thinking about getting rid of it for a while and seeing if I can just get it to detract to the actual point of having one a bit more.
Yeah.
She can play a couple of the games that I've bought her and stuff like that and really get into it. But,
All right.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's my experience with it anyway.
Yeah, no, fair enough. All right, Bryce, thank you very much for your time. I know we caught you at a bad time for the first call, but I guess I'll see you I'll see you on Tuesday to watch the Sonic movie.
Yeah, well, yeah, that. And just one thing I'd like to know. You started this podcast at 10:15, right?
No, we started like an hour and a half ago. We're just getting to the segment now where we've decided to ring you.
I was going to say, like, when you said you were going to call, I was like, oh, yeah, you know, an hour episode, by the time it gets around to it, it should be about 9:15, 9:30. I should be safe.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that.
What have you two been talking about?
Oh, there's been a lot of news going on. A lot of news. We've been talking about Filbert from Animal Crossing. Fuck, I love Filbert, Bryce. Do you know who
Where
Filbert
did
is?
you go? Is the better question.
Do you know who Filbert is, Bryce?
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me. You can't hear me. Well, that's a good.
Bye.
Yeah, all right, bye. All right, that was Bryce DeWitt, everyone. What? So, you know what? The phone call segments can go a little smoother next time, I would say, but we'll iron that out. That was very much a test run. So yeah, what do you think of the phone segment, Bryce? Not Bryce, Seamus. I'm talking to you now. Fucking hell. Fucking.
Well, I guess that's the chance you take with calling people randomly, what they could possibly be doing. But, you know, I'm sure you'll probably pre-organize it with people a little bit beforehand to just give them a heads up just in case they're not on the shitter or, you know,
Yeah.
at a movie.
At a movie, they're just like whispering under the seat or something.
I love Filbert too. But no, I think it's a cool feature, yeah, and I look forward to you smoothing it out more in future. I'm glad I was here for the test run.
Yeah, hey, I'll ring you next time.
I look forward to it. Maybe, yeah.
Maybe I'll like. What do you want to talk about? I don't know, Seamus. What's going on since last week? You played Animal Crossing yet? You invited Filbert to your village?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not like I didn't say this before, but I've never played Animal Crossing myself. And I was saying to you before the show, I probably won't be picking it up. I'll probably be picking up Doom Eternal the same day it comes out, and my girlfriend she'll be picking up Animal Crossing. So that's the thing. Hearing you talk about it does sound cute. It does sound nice. So like,
it'll be a really good game for you to play with Olivia.
It would be,
It would
and like
be.
with you and lots of other friends, because like this is probably the first Animal Crossing, like that's gonna have this real staying power, and there's many people playing it. So like, there's a good chance I'll probably end up getting it.
Because the other thing with this game too is that like on one Switch you can have up to 5 villages on the one island. So you and Olivia, if you play on the same Switch, you can share an island together.
Yeah, which is really cool. Yeah, isn't it like you can have 5 people locally and then like 10 people online?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Got to watch the direct in a day or so to find out.
That's a lot of people in one village. That's a lot of chaos.
Yeah, everyone's just stealing your shit and
Stealing all your butterflies.
just shaking all your coconut trees. Like, no, don't take my coconut trees. I got to
Just
sell them.
Just kidnapping Filbert. It's just it sounds like an interesting time.
Yeah, absolutely. So, is there anything else to talk about, Seamus, or have we covered most of the things to wrap up?
I think we've covered a fair bit tonight in regards to news. What I've been up to since I was on 100 episodes ago, which is still crazy to think about. What you've been playing, testing out your new equipment, but you might be doing a fun trip in the next couple of days, Drew. I know you've got Sonic movie coming up next week.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
thanks for
and
this.
and that's exciting as well. But you've got a bit of a cool trip you might be doing this weekend to Melbourne.
Yeah, so this was the plan. I'm not 100% sure yet, just because I've got to get like our rooms painted before the carpet gets in. And that's it's going to be a bit of work. So I don't know whether I should be going away, but I would.
He should.
I should. I would love to. Well, I could be going to Melbourne for the Pokemon Oceania World Championships in Melbourne, and checking that out, and maybe talking to some people and all of that fun stuff, and just checking it out because obviously a big Pokemon fan, so I want to get amongst all the events and the communities that I can. And Melbourne isn't too far away, it's a 5.5 hour drive. It's not awful.
It's not too far, but and it's just a cool event. Like you would be competing, but you just cream everyone there, so you're being kind to them.
And of course,
just going to watch, and enjoy it.
Yeah, I did want to compete, but I didn't get a team together, so that's on me. I'll just go and watch.
It takes a lot of time and effort. Yeah,
and I haven't really been playing much the last month or so. So yeah, I've just been collecting things and putting them into home, pretty much.
Well, I'm hoping you'll be able to make the time to go for it, so I can hear about that, Drew, because it sounds like a really interesting event. But I look forward to hearing about your impressions from the Nintendo Direct in a couple of days, regardless, and especially your impressions of the Sonic movie, and whether I want you to review it for me, Drew, just for me.
I won't even upload it. I'll just send it to you.
Just send it to me, Drew.
I'll just upload the episode just for you.
So to know whether I should go see other rather than other Academy Oscar-nominated movies that are currently out in cinema.
Don't waste your time with them.
Don't waste your time with them. Well, you see, check out some of it first and let me know.
I will.
Yeah.
I'll be the dummy just for you.
Thank you.
I'll sacrifice my own time and money and popcorn, Maltesers, and Coke allowance just for you.
I appreciate that.
Thank you. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for listening to the House of Mario episode 132. If you'd like to help out the show, please subscribe on your podcast service of choice and set the show to auto-download so you never miss an episode. And if you want to help us in the magical algorithms, I don't know what happened there. Holy crap. The algorithms that Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all that sort of put together. Leave us a review. It helps us out. And reading those reviews really makes my day. There was a random one that popped up the other day, and I was like, oh, that's really nice. There was another fellow Australian, and it was cool.
Yeah, you should, regardless of their algorithms, if you enjoy the show, you should just rate it. It helps, but it's just nice for Drew to see. And
and it's the type of thing too. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I'm not on Apple iTunes and all the time, so I'm not writing a lot of reviews, but it definitely means a lot to me if you do find the time to do that. And another way you can help us sort of grow is suggest us to your fellow Nintendo nerd friends, whether it's in person or social media. Word of mouth is a great way to sort of share our podcast around, and whether people are interested in a sort of down-to-earth Nintendo podcast, we've got the show for you, or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe someone else has another down-to-earth Nintendo podcast. I doubt it. Come on, like seriously. No one does Nintendo podcasts. No one. No, it hasn't been done before. And we also have a Patreon over at patreon.com where you can get other little goodies in that for supporting us financially and helping us buy things like this Rodecaster and microphones.
This awesome equipment, yeah.
Yeah, help us set up and make the quality of the shows we do better.
And you've also got a cool Discord community for the podcast as well, Drew.
Absolutely. So there's an invite in the show notes below for the House of Mario Discord community. We've got people in there talking each day. It's a small community, but it's really tight knit, and I've really come to love everyone in there. Whether it's Meta, Luke, Jamie. I won't go any further because I'll forget people.
Bryce
but, yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Don't see Bryce there a whole lot. He hasn't been in there recently. Slack, not good enough. Yeah. Anyway, Seamus, any plugs or Twitter handles or anything you want to shout out there?
You can follow me on Twitter at Seamus Mullins, SeamusMullins. Twitter's like I've sort of backed off a little bit from a lot of social media to a degree, or at least posting, just because I've been busy and just haven't honestly had the energy for it. But I'm on Twitter still a fair bit. That's like where I tweet about cool indie games and what I'm up to work-wise, and just retweeting cool game industry stuff I see. So hit me up on Twitter. Yeah, and you can find me at iDruby and the show at the House of Mario. And this week's Nintendo Jukebox is by Tiny Waves, and it's Goddess Zelda's Lullaby remix. It's really good. It's awesome, and I hope you enjoy it. And until next week, the doors to the House of Mario are closed. Catch you later. Bye.